And now it's time for us to move on to the next segment, which is called Rapid Bias. And in this segment, I'll be asking my guests biased questions that they've got asked at some points in life. So, Super Smack, are you ready?
Bias. If I'm gonna have bias in my life, it better be rapid. We don't want this slow bias.
I know. Let's go for it.
Speed it up.
The first question: I don't date Asians.
Oh, why not? You should try. I've heard this a lot from people. Even Asians say this sometimes. And I think that's so unfortunate when people like take a whole category, also a category that happens to be like, you know, close to half of the world's population, and be like, I'm not gonna date, you know, anyone from that. Yeah, I think if you're saying I don't date Asians, you probably have some oversimplified, that'll put it nicely, oversimplified and wrong assumptions about the Asians and who they are, and you should probably break that habit and give it a try. You'll probably find that there's a lot of things that will challenge your assumptions. So
exactly,
if you don't date Asians, you should date an Asian. Give it a try.
And the second question is, this is the complete opposite, which is, I only date Asians.
Oh, why? I will also ask the same question of you, hypothetical biased person. Why do you only date Asians? There's a word that starts with F and rhymes with Schmedish that may be associated with what you are going through right now. But yeah, I think if this is coming from someone who's not Asian and they're saying they only date Asians, I think that also probably means that you have some oversimplified and wrong assumptions about Asians, and there may be some problematic things to go and question. Go talk to some real friends who will tell you what's up, who can maybe guide you onto being more open-minded. And then the flip side is sometimes you hear this from Asians too. And if you live in Asia too, or if you live in that's fine, that's cool. And if it's like a geographic thing or something about your context, like that's fine. But I don't know, from my background, because what I've heard this in America growing up, which is, we're extremely multiracial country. Like we should, whether it's dating or at least or even any other kind of relationship, like I think we should be comfortable being open-minded, like interacting with people of all races and backgrounds. It's like kind of like, if you're gonna enjoy the quote-unquote like benefits of like living in America, I think that's like one of the prices that that's like the price of admittance to like living in America. It's like you should get along with people from all other races, Yeah. It's like it's not the hardest thing in the world. Yeah, I'm not saying you need to marry. You have to marry someone of X race or Y race or whatever, or that you can't, if you're an Asian who's dating another Asian or whatever, like that's wrong. Like, no, that's totally not what I'm trying to say. But like, if you're in this stage where you're like dating around and you're considering options, right? Or if you're on an app and you're swiping on an app, maybe try and be more open-minded. Go back and toggle those settings on your dating app so that you're not only looking for Asians. Like, consider some other options. The world is a big place.
Yeah, exactly. And this bias essentially also lumps all Asians into one group, expecting them to be all the same, while within this whole like over 50% of the world's population, like we Asians also don't know much about Asians who aren't from our own culture. So we're just so diverse, so different. Yeah, I don't think it's fair to lump everyone into just one label.
Yeah. Sidebar, I think like on dating apps, like the fact that you can even toggle those things on and off, I think is like, I think like we should question that, especially as someone who like used to work in like tech. Like, I think we should question whether like that is actually like a good feature to have. Like, as if like people are like, it's like you're shopping on Amazon. And you're like, no, I only want to like, look at like products under $25 or something like that. Like that's just like a weird filter to include. So
kind
I
of
don't know.
dehumanizes.
If you're a software engineer at a dating company, you know, maybe like go talk to your teammates about that.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe algorithms are more biased than humans, or they definitely are.
They are probably equally as biased because algorithms are written by humans and
that's true.
Humans are
Yeah. But the next one on rapid bias, half Asians are the hottest Asians.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Ooh. I gave you some spicy ones for this. So this is like really specific, right? If you're maybe not part of the community, maybe you'll be like, what's the big deal with this? But like I've heard this at different points in my life. And so I will say first off the bat, half Asians can be very hot. That's great. Like I will not disagree with that. Like I've also heard it taken to a really weird, everything's a spectrum, right? And I've heard it being taken to like a really weird place, right? Where literally if you're saying someone said to me, half Asians are the hottest Asians, like this definitive fact. There's a lot of stuff wrapped in there that can be like problematic, right? Like again, fetishization, colorism, right? Especially when you look at like historical context of like the problem of and let's say in most cases that the other half part would be white. So I'm not talking about necessarily other, mixed race folks or anything like that, but like there's every culture, not just Asians, but other cultures, like we there's this weird phenomenon, troubling phenomenon if you look at like history of like the white, fair-skinned Western standard of beauty. And if you look at it historically, it's really harmful and it's really pervasive. And I think we would like to think as a modern society that we're really like far beyond that now. We've matured beyond that. Like, no, like it's here in America, it's here in the Philippines. If you look like who's on the billboards, it's like the people on the billboards like do not look like the average person that you see on the streets in terms of like their skin tone, right? They're like Filipino, but they're like this like mestiza, like, mixed, and the more European features, and like basically like the closer, like the more European features you have as a Filipino, that's like you're scoring more points on the spectrum towards like what is considered, attractive. And that is just that's first off, it's wrong. Second off, it's harmful. And threaten, like it's like a bad experience for people who don't get to benefit from that necessarily. Mm-hmm. And it's wrong. I already said that. But you can like what you like. You can have your tastes in everything. Like, I'm the guy that wrote Orange Chicken, so I'm not trying to shame anyone for their personal preferences. But when you take it to like an extreme like that, where you're grouping entire categories of people, I think that's where it starts to get a little bit like cringe. Yeah. Would be the nicest way to put it. So go and re-examine that if you're the person that said half Asians are the hottest Asians.
All right, moving on in the segment. The next question is, we care about diversity here. That's why we have white and black people.
That is so nice that you care about diversity. I'm so happy for you and your organization. I would love to hear about the opportunities that you're also giving to Latin, Asian, East Asian, South Asian, Indigenous, Native American, Pacific Islander, because there's a whole lot more than just white and black when it comes to diversity that I think, at least in America, I've seen a lot of organizations not really exhibit that awareness. Again, sometimes well-meaning, but open your mind a little more.
Yeah, a lot of times it's kind of like a tick box exercise for them. It's like, what do you mean? We have a black person here.
Which is not a great experience if you're doing that. It's not a great experience for that one black person too, to be like your like look, we're diverse. Like, that's not a good position for anyone.
Yeah, or like as very Asian foundations, Michelle Lee told us, for a lot of like TV newsrooms in the States, they would be like, okay, like we can't hire another Asian because we already have one Asian in the newsroom.
God
like,
forbid. God
more
forbid.
Asians would get people confused. That's just so F up.
Yeah.
And finally, on this segment, you're not tall enough to play a lead role.
Come see me in Chicago.
There you go. That's the perfect comeback.
This is what I'll say to you. I'll invite you. I will come talk to you after the show and see what you thought. Because I'll give a pretty good performance. I can promise you that. Yeah, I think that's joking aside. Yeah, I think it's always good to like question some of these things. Why do we think the leading character has to be tall? Is art and life are like a reflection of each other, right? Like one influences the other and the other influences one back. Like, is that how life is? Are all of the people in leadership roles in real life tall?
Yeah.
Do they look a certain way? Should that be the case? No and no, right? So then like why are we doing that when it comes to art? You know? If you are, say, if you're hiding behind like, oh, like a commercial, like we want this because that's how people expect. I will say that you are a coward and you are not a true artist. And if you're a true artist, you should take a stand and be more open-minded in your casting, whether that's tall or skinny or European features, anything that, you know, might traditionally be associated with like a stereotypical like leading character or the people that get to play like those kind of three-dimensional interesting roles. Like let's keep opening that up. I think it'll be a good thing, and then we'll get back to the whole like art influencing and reflecting on life, which is the whole point of art to begin with.
Exactly.
If you don't want that, why are you making art? Go into investment banking, make more money. You know, like get out of the entertainment business. Like, if all you care about is making money, like go into investment banking. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in entertainment and art, like, let's make some art.
Yes, that's a very powerful statement to leave us with on this rapid bias segment.